I'd like to recognize a couple of our public officials who are joining us today. Jean Cole-Wells, King County Councillor, over there. And City of Seattle Deputy Mayor Heo Kim. And I'd also like to acknowledge our music director and conductor, Ludovic Morleau, who's at the back over there. He's in the middle of rehearsals, but he just stopped by to say hello, and he is as committed as I am to this notion of an arts organization working for the good of the community. So we're great. We feel absolutely aligned in our commitment, and that's a kind of a good segue really to the beginning of the story, which is that 5 years ago, Ludovic and I arrived here in Seattle to take over the reins of the Seattle Symphony, and it quickly became clear to us that one of the first things we wanted to do was to redefine the way the symphony related to the community. We wanted to look beyond the idea of an orchestra that just plays great music in a beautiful concert hall for people who are paying good money. We wanted to think about what role we could play in helping create a healthy society in our city. And so one of the very first things we did was we opened the doors. We opened the doors of Benaroy Hall, and we used our spare tickets that were unsold to bring people in for free, because I always had that philosophy. Every time I sat in the hall and I saw an empty seat, that was a person who didn't hear Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. So from the very beginning, we opened the doors with this Community Connections program, and we had just four partners at the beginning: Joint Base Lewis McCord, One America, Senior Housing Assistance Group, and the Post-Prison Program. And 5 years later, and 6,000 seats later, we have over 60 partners, many of whom are represented in this room, working in doing incredible work around the community in social services, youth work, veterans, seniors, health services. And we're thrilled to be able to support them through a variety of different kinds of programs, through musical residencies, through ticketing, and through some of the larger artistic collaborations that you've seen and you've heard about on the stage just now. And over the course of the last 3 years, there's no work that has more inspired us than the work we've started to do with homelessness and homeless communities. And it's really become very clear to us that as we look around all the various pressing issues in our region and in the Pacific Northwest, and indeed in the West Coast in general, there's no issue which is more tragic or more pressing or more urgent for us to deal with than this. So we've started to ask ourselves, what could we do about that? What role might we play as an arts organization to address homelessness? What we can't do, of course, is put a roof over people's heads or provide clean clothes or food and drink. But we've heard time and time again, and we've seen it with our own eyes, and you saw it on the stage just now, that music creates an incredible sense of comfort and safety for people whose lives feel overwhelming, that shared musical experience brings individuals and communities together in powerful ways, and that music has a unique power to remove barriers that isolate people and to help people manage anxiety and stress. And our partners like Mary's Place, Path with Art, Compass Housing, Plymouth Housing, and Youth Care have told us time and time again that they value this work in nurturing not only people's physical needs, but their spiritual needs. So last November, after Mayor Murray and County Executive Dow Constantine declared a state of emergency on homelessness, we decided that we would adopt the issue of homelessness for the next few years as a major organizational focus. And this is a big commitment for us. It's not just another community program. This is a kind of organizational mindset. It's about saying, how might we bring all our resources to bear in this organization to try to make a contribution in whatever small and frankly humble way we can as an organization. And as you heard the simple gifts, that is the title that we've chosen for this initiative. Many people know the famous Shaker hymn, but for us the words have a slightly broader meaning. They speak to the idea that music is a gift both to give and to receive, and to our belief that everyone, regardless of background or social status, has the gift of music within them waiting to be released. So over the next few years, we're going to focus on four main areas of work. The first is large-scale creative projects, as you just saw an example of. We have three amazing in-depth partnerships coming next year. The Path with Art project around We're All Here, Housing is a Human Right. Then the continuation of our Lullaby project with Mary's Place, which has just been an extraordinarily inspiring thing for all of us. And then we're going to launch a new project called Holiday Symphony, which is going to see participants creating works of art, which will be projected on the big screen in the main hall here, with performances of Charles Ives' Holiday Symphony, which are going to be conducted by Ludovic Morlot later in February next year. And then, so those are the large projects. Then we're going to continue our work with strategic residencies, which are about being a regular and consistent presence in the community, about creating tailored musical experiences that deliver impact not on our goals, but on our partners' goals. So we want to know what our partners want to achieve, and often it's things like self-advocacy, resiliency, creativity, teamwork. So music can help with all of those things. And so with our residencies, we work with our partners to try and make what impact we can and give people the skills they need to be successful in their lives and to move out of homelessness. The third area is about raising awareness. We reach probably over 100,000 people every year through our programs, through our public communications, through our publications. And we think that's a great platform to be able to raise awareness for our partners, just as we have here. If you've been looking at the screens on the side of the stage here, we've been showcasing the incredible work that our partners do. And we're going to go on doing that through the year and on an even bigger basis, because we think there's an opportunity to use our platform to increase the general public's understanding about what homelessness actually is. Who is the homeless population? We think we can bring to life the human stories about lost jobs, domestic abuse, catastrophic illness, and displacement, which are sadly so common in our society and which give rise to homelessness. And we want to raise the awareness of these human stories behind it. They're very different to the stories that I think that many people in our audience may think about when they think about homelessness. So we want to think about how we can help to break down those stereotypes and really humanize this issue. And lastly, we're very interested in exploring the whole idea of collective community service. What would it be like if our musicians, staff, and board volunteered together to help organizations? What could we do just simply as individuals to help? And I look to all of you in your organizations around the room. You're our partners. We'd love to hear from you. If you've got projects that you think we can help with, things where we can volunteer and play a role in your organization, we'd love to know, because that would be a meaningful thing for us, not only as an organization, but also as individuals. So just in closing, I just would say I passionately believe that way of the future for arts organizations is, and I'll kind of metaphorically underline these words, to commit to their communities with the same passion that they commit to their art forms. Simple Gifts is our way of stepping forward and showing that commitment, and our attempt to make some small impact on our community in the way that we know best, which is through the power of music. So we look to you to help us with this, to help us join us with us on this journey, and to together make a great impact on this community around us and make Seattle a greater, fairer, healthier place. Thank you very much.